We are back with another edition of the Stan and Neil Show. Great to have you with us.
Yeah, he's Stan. I'm Neil. We put a lot of thought into the name.
All
Stanley,
right,
how
man.
are we doing today?
Doing great. How are you? How was your weekend?
Listen, I went to the church of Neil Young last night, the Hollywood Bowl. Got musically baptized. I am raring to go. Of course, you know Neil Young's father, Scott Young, Hall of Fame hockey writer up in Canada. So there's a sports angle there, so I can work some Neil Young into the Stan and Neil Show. But man, I'm on a whole nother level.
All right.
Yeah. It's like I got an IV drip. You know what I'm saying? It was something special. Now, I want to remind people, Stan, while we're here too, if you subscribe, not only will you support, but you'll also unlock some extra engagement perks. And I'm here to tell you the levels are as follows, starting at the top. You want to be a Hall of Famer? Of course you do. But if you can't be a Hall of Famer, you want to be an All-Pro. And if you can't be an All-Pro, well, you're a rookie. But you're still our rookie, and you're on our team, and that's all that matters. We're also on all your social media channels, YouTube, Instagram. I think we're out there on TikTok. Just search at the Stan and Neil Show, and so we're ready to engage. We have a little technical difficulties in show 2, but they still invited us back for show 3, and we're looking for hopefully be back for a show 4 on Friday.
Don't forget, you can also listen in Apple Podcasts and Spotify or anywhere you get your podcasts. We're everywhere with the Stan and Neil Show. We're glad you're here too. Don't forget to follow us here on Twitch. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you can subscribe. We certainly appreciate it. All right, let's talk about the weekend. Neil Everett at Mafiathon. Okay, now I missed it because I had a lot of stuff going on too. But okay, tell me about you and Kai Cenat at Mafiathon.
I'm telling you, Stan, I got into the deep end of the pool, the Twitch pool. I was in the deep end, okay, and I needed a little floaty to keep me going there. But this guy Kai, he is dialed in. Good guy, and not only is he super creative, but he's philanthropic, and so he rents basically. Think of a big airport hangar. Okay, that's how big a room this was. Huge. There's hundreds of people as extras. And what he's doing, he was having the second annual LBA draft. And the LBA stands for Little Ballers Association.
Okay.
Kai Cenat is 5'3".
Okay.
So he had video of him and his boys playing against like little kids in basketball, not Nerf ball, like real basketball. It was hilarious. He even had a game on Sunday that Ty Lue and I can't remember. Who was the other coach, Jeff? Rich Paul. Ty Lue and Rich Paul were the coaches.
Okay.
And they played, I think, over at Pepperdine. So anyhow, they had this big setup. You know, they got the catered food, they got hair and makeup, they got people, they got guys walking around as Sumatori's, guy was walking around as Nacho Libre. They've got, it's like being at a carnival.
Yeah.
And I was asked to be an analyst of the draft. Okay. So it was me and Tampa Bay Jones, not his real name, and Bubba, whose last name I can't remember, but it wasn't his real name either.
Okay.
Bubba was a former first-round pick of the LBA. They got him out of retirement. And the deal was Kai Cenat was so bad that he wasn't drafted last year. His mama was drafted. His grandmama was drafted. Bubba was drafted out of retirement. I mean, a baby was drafted, everything. So now it's the second year Kai has been reinstated to the league. Okay. And he's going through the draft again. And once again, he does not go as early as he would hope, but he did eventually go. And I'm sure it's running on his Twitch channel where he's got a gazillion viewers. At one point, my wife said there was 427,000 people watching.
Wow.
So I'm just glad that I'm tight with Kai because I didn't know that I'd ever be able to say that.
Yeah, our new Twitch homie. Okay. Now, I hope you brought back some clips.
I did, and I think Jeff's going to roll a clip here right about now, right, Jeff?
See where Kai goes. I'm just so streamers do not adjust your streaming device. My head really is. I'm not wearing any pants.
Well, I'm not sure the people out there needed to know it, but I'm glad you're just that excited.
Yeah, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then, and I'm not sure if Kai edited some of those highlights himself or he did the research on those numbers. Yeah, he's trying to flex on Kai. That's his first mistake.
Hey, on the table in the family photo, was that guac?
I thought it was queso, but I could be wrong.
For sure.
Yeah,
Actually used to give Shaquille O'Neal a little trouble.
Yeah, you did. For sure.
We go to the commissioner now for the 12th pick in the draft.
Shaq would dispute that.
Yeah, y'all always talk about this top 3 with Castaneda. He's definitely projected to be just happy to be drafted in every draft class.
Yeah, when you're talking top 3, I wonder what video you were scouting, because it wasn't the same that Bubba and I were looking at.
Absolutely not.
For sure. Show me the money. Sam Jones won 10 rings with the Celtics. Sam Coleman hopes to have the equal career in the LBA. He's got the tattoos and the tood. You played in Russia. What was he saying? All the friends and family celebrating, everybody leaving happy. Kai Cenat especially.
We did it.
Getting picked to play for the Monstars. Over gang buddies who were the big trade that preceded his being drafted really set him up well to be the last pick in this draft.
I'm telling you, in the middle of this thing, his agent came and got him, and they went and shot a State Farm commercial in the middle of the draft. It was crazy.
So they shot a State Farm commercial in the middle of the draft.
Yes, they took him to another room. They had a green screen up there, and they shot a legitimate commercial.
Yeah.
I mean, like with the 12th pick, the table that Kai Cenat was sitting at was drafted. They actually had a guy underneath the table who then stood up with the table on his back and went up, and Kai Cenat can't get drafted before the table he's sitting at. It was silly, but it was fun.
Yeah.
It was super creative, and I was really honored to be a part of it. Met really great people that he had working for him on that night.
All right, and you know it's a whole new world. It's this new world we've entered, and it's great to be a part of it. And great to have Kai as one of our Twitch homies, because he's the man.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the NFL. 2 games last night. Oh, also everybody in the chat, first time chat. Hello, K Spence. Hello, August Eve. Hello, everybody in the chat. You can hop into the chat if you're with us here on Twitch, and if you have comments or questions about the topic matter on the show, we'll refer to the chat from time to time. Sir JXL, what's up? Thanks for joining us. Let's get into Monday Night Football. 2 games last night. Let's start with that Chargers-Raiders game.
Yeah.
What was your takeaway from that?
Well, listen, the Raiders only won 2 home games last season. You would think they'd have a huge home field advantage because they play at what looks like Darth Vader's house. If you've not seen Allegiant Stadium from the outside, have you been into Allegiant Stadium?
Have not been inside.
I have not either, but it looks big. So it was interesting. So they drafted the kid out of Boise State, Gentry. He was on the sidelines in crunch time. So and then afterwards, Pete Carroll said we're breaking him in. I didn't know that there was a breaking in period between college and the NFL. I thought you were drafted, and then if you could play, you played. So maybe Pete or Chip Kelly is seeing something that maybe it's a lesson or something. The Raiders only rushed for 70 yards, and Pete wanted Geno Smith. He had him in Seattle. He's got him now in Las Vegas. Geno had 3 picks, thrown into double coverage, threw a pick on the first play of the game. Yep. In the win the week before, Geno's 9 for 14 on plays with 10 or more yards. Last night he's 0 of 12. That's bad. It's not good. Justin Herbert looks effective. Stand through 2 games. He had about 250 yards, a couple touchdowns. What's interesting about the Chargers is Jim Harbaugh is meat and potatoes. Let's smash mouth football. We're going to run it right in your face.
Yep.
Well, he doesn't have an offensive line right now that can open holes for a running back, and he's not so pig-headed that he's going to try and fit a square peg into a round hole. He's got Herbert dropping back to pass and passing way more than a lot of people expected. Quentin Johnson is the recipient of that thus far. He's got 3 touchdowns in 2 games. He, of course, went to TCU, as did Matt Sporey. I don't know if you remember that, Stan, but that is right.
Okay.
So anyhow,
I don't remember Matt, but okay. Shout out Horned Frogs.
There you go. So Vegas goes to Washington next week, and we'll get into whether Jaden Daniels can play in that one later. And then Sunday, it's the Chargers now 2-0. We'll talk about 2-0 teams against Denver, and that for an Oregon fan, which I just
Yeah.
be
Bo Nix
that's
against Herbert.
Yeah, can't lose.
Yeah. You know, the Genty situation, I wonder if it was a pass protection kind of thing, because you know they had to throw to try to get back in the game, and maybe he's still figuring out the pass protection. I don't know. I'm not speaking for Pete Carroll, but maybe that's the reason why they maybe trust him as a runner and a receiver right now, but he needs to work on his pass protection. Could be one of the things there. But I tell you what, though, that Chargers secondary, man, their ball skills are just unbelievable. I mean, the way there were times when it looked like a receiver was open until the Chargers DB got there and broke it up. And Derwin James is just a phenomenal player. I mean, he was everywhere last night in that game. So, I mean, the Chargers, man, Chargers are the real deal. I mean, everybody says Harbaugh keeps saying if they keep Herbert healthy, they feel like they really got something. And, they're thinking Super Bowl, even in the AFC, as tough as it is. And now, like you mentioned, they're off to that 2-0 start. And the Raiders, I don't know. It just kind of seems like things weren't really working last night. Brock Bowers didn't look like he was himself. He had the knee brace on, and a couple of times he caught passes where I thought he would be much more explosive in yards after the catch if he were fully healthy. So it didn't really look like he was fully healthy. All right,
It's
Tampa
an
Bay
interesting
Texans.
dynamic too, Stan. The whole Pete Carroll, Jim Harbaugh dynamic.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because of the history they had. Because folks out there might remember, might not, and if you don't, I'll remind you. So I think it was, what was it, 2000? Let's see, I got my notes here somewhere. 2004, Pete Carroll. Oh, there it is. Yeah, no, 2007.
Yep.
And USC was the cat's ass, man. They had won that. They had Bush, they had Leinart, they'd won championships, and they were 41-point favorites against Stanford.
Wow.
And Jim Harbaugh had been coaching at San Diego, not San Diego State.
Right, University of San Diego, USD. Yep.
Yeah. And then he'd taken the Stanford job, and this was 2007. Stanford beats USC. I remember we were on SportsCenter that night.
Yep.
And then 2009, Stanford beats USC 55-21, and Harbaugh, with less than 6 minutes to go, scores 2 touchdowns, like is actively trying to score, going for 2-pointers.
Do you remember
was
that Andrew Luck?
Ooh, that might have, 2009. That might be Andrew Luck.
Might be Andrew Luck. Okay, yep.
And remember it's at the 50-yard line or wherever when Carroll and Harbaugh came to shake hands.
Yeah.
And the mics picked up Pete Carroll saying, "Hey, are you all right? Are you all right? Hey, what's your deal?
What's your deal? What's your deal? What's your deal game?"
And Harbaugh's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. And
Harbaugh, no matter what you ask him at any point, he always looks like, what are you talking about? What do you mean by that? You know what I mean? He always like, he doesn't know,
So they didn't get along in college. So now they moved to the pros, and Harbaugh's with the 49ers and Pete Carroll's with the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And they meet in the 2014 NFC Championship game, which then Seattle, and Carroll gets the payback right there, because now he earns a chance to go to the Super Bowl, where he needed the tush push.
Right.
Because if he had the tush push on 4th down, he wouldn't have thrown it to had Russ Wilson try and squeeze it into a hole there on the goal line, and just handed it to Marshawn Lynch instead.
Yep. So the Chargers out to 2-0 start on top. The NFC West, which is looking like a really good division right now. I'm sorry, the AFC West looking like a really good division right now. We're going to get to those 2-0 teams and the 0-2 teams and figure out who's really as good as their record, who's really as bad as their record. But let's talk about the Bucs and the Texans last night. Man, really, really entertaining game. And how about Baker Mayfield?
And like Baker Mayfield's one of those dudes where, like, you're walking down an alley ready to get in a fight. You want him on your team, because he's gonna bite dudes' ankles if he has to.
Yep.
I mean, he's gonna do it. And I became a fan of his because I met him in person, Stan, when I did some work with the Heisman Trophy
Yep.
the year that he won the award.
Okay.
And so, some guys, when you meet them, they just have this dude presence.
Yep.
And he was one of those guys where you're like, he's a pro. He's in college still, and this was before NIL, or at least above the board NIL. He came up and introduced himself, and he was just, I got 40 years on him.
Yeah.
But at that time, I felt like I was a dude because he thought I was a dude, so you end up rooting for people or not rooting for them depending on how your meeting goes. And with him, I've always ended up rooting for him, and it's not often that a one pick like he was flames out and then finds success somewhere else. History just says that doesn't happen often. If you flame, you flame, and he's finding someone. Now 2 games he's led final minute drives to win them both for the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I interviewed him after the Sugar Bowl when he was at Oklahoma, and they won a game there. And I remember the same thing. I said, "Wow, this guy's going to be pretty good." I always talk about quarterbacks, and I say, like, the guy has to have it. He just has to have it, and it is really hard to define, but you know it when you see it. You know it when you see it. And you see it with him. Like he can throw the ball down the field. He'll stand in there and take a hit, but if he needs to get out there and run, he'll get out there and run. And so he just has that intangible thing that I think quarterback evaluators are looking at and trying to find. They're trying to see when it's real. Okay, when there are 300-pound men chasing him with bad intentions, can he deliver? And I think in Cleveland, they gave up too quickly. They had that bad play. He had that bad playoff game against Pittsburgh, and it was terrible. Okay, I think he threw 4 picks in that game, whatever. And there were talk that he lost the locker room or whatever. But I think they panicked in Cleveland and gave up too early. And now he's rejuvenated himself with the Buccaneers, and with that defense and the way Todd Bowles likes to apply pressure. I mean, the Bucs have something. I think they're a little bit under the radar in the NFC because of the Eagles and now the Packers. But, man, Tampa Bay looks pretty good. And another Duck, Bucky Irving, man, he's been great.
There you go.
He's been great for them out of the backfield and rushing the ball. Then they come with Rashad White as well. I mean, they got a good team. They got a really good team.
So it was, to your point on Mayfield, Stan, it's 19-14 Texans, less than 2 minutes to go. 4th and 10 from the wrong side of the field. Mayfield avoids that sack. He's almost like Houdini-esque, runs right up the middle, gets the first down at midfield. Then you got under a minute to play. Irving caught that ball and then had big yak yardage down to the 25 when they should have had him probably on about the 45. Then Evans. And then I was thinking about Boomer going tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock.
Yeah.
Tick, 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 tick. Because the clock was running down, and what was it, 6 seconds left, and that's when White went. And did you see White when he scored? He went Dame Lillard. He went.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna tell you. I was worried. They were a little fuzzy with their clock management there. They had timeouts, and they weren't using them. And I'm like, man, they could run out of time here, because I thought they would take a couple shots in the end zone. Save enough time to take a couple shots in the end zone. But they managed it and they won the game. But I thought their clock management was a little iffy down the stretch. But going back to Mayfield, when they get the ball and they need a touchdown and there's 2 minutes to go, that's when you can really evaluate a quarterback, because you ask yourself, do I believe that they can go down and get a touchdown in this situation? There's some guys who, if it's Josh Allen, if it's Lamar Jackson, if it's Patrick Mahomes, you're going to be like, okay, I believe this guy can go get it done. I'm going to stay and watch. There's other guys where you're just like, they lost. And I think that's one of the things. Gusty J said Cleveland making bad decisions, preposterous, could never happen. Talking about the Browns with Baker Mayfield. And have you heard the clip of those Cleveland radio guys?
Is that Tony Rizzo?
I don't know, but there's 2 Cleveland radio guys, and somebody calls up. This is when Deshaun Watson was still playing, and he had a horrible game, and Baker Mayfield apparently had a really good game. And the first caller of the day on their show is giving them the quarterback ratings, and then one of the hosts goes on like, "I'm not doing this today." He's not coming back. He's not coming back. So that's that's the situation Cleveland's in right now. So it'll be interesting to see if the Browns eventually get to Dylan Gabriel and or Shador Sanders if this gets out of control with Joe Flacco. You get to 0-4, 0-5. Not saying it's going to happen, but if it does, how quickly do you try one or two of those rookie quarterbacks to kind of see what you got there?
Well, before we get to the 0-2 Browns, we also, you mentioned Bowles' defense. Remember, the Texans had 3 plays from the 1-yard line.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
got nothing.
yeah.
And had they kicked the field goal, had they got the touchdown, that would have changed the dynamic of that game completely. Had they gotten the field goal knowing what was ahead of them, that would have made things look a little different. It would have been 22-14, and Tampa Bay would have had to score the touchdown and get the 2 just to force overtime.
Yeah, Nick Chubb had that 1 touchdown run, but other than that, I mean, Tampa Bay's run defense was fantastic in that game. The Bucks are pretty good. I mean, Texans, I'm not sure that CJ Stroud is right, and I don't know if it's physical or if it's just kind of he's regressing a little bit, but CJ Stroud doesn't look right. I mean, the Texans are one of those 0-2 teams. Any other games in particular before we get to the 2-0 teams and our assessments of the 2-0 teams versus 0-2 teams?
Well, this is interesting because I'm out Sunday.
Yep.
And I'm out with the wife, and we're running around here, and where's my note? Yeah. And happy her, happy me, or happy universe. So I'm running around with her. I don't need to watch the games. I'm kind of glancing at the phone every now and then, and I see that there's 9 early games. Okay.
Yep.
With 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern, 7 a.m. Hawaiian kickoff. And I look, and 6 of the 9 games we're going into the fourth quarter with a 1-score difference. You had the Rams were up 20-16 on the Titans. The Patriots were up 23-20 on the Dolphins. It was 19-14, your 49er Saints game.
Yeah.
It was Dallas and the Giants, where it was a 1-point game. Jags and Bengals were tied, and Seattle and Pittsburgh were tied. That was going into the fourth quarter. You had 6 of the 9 games. Ravens were up 10, so that was still kind of close. Lions and Bills were a blowout. So now I've got to figure out how to get myself in front of a television to watch this, but without seeming like that was the plan. Okay? Because I'm out with the wife, and we're doing fun things together.
Yeah.
So you know what happened? Oh, God, I got a headache. I think I've had enough. I don't think I've had enough water today. I don't know if I can do the bike ride and the shopping for the new phone that we were going to. And you know what? My wife's the best. She's like,
yeah.
Oh, honey, you just go home, get comfortable, and maybe watch football. So I get home, and I get on the couch, and I turn on the game, the Cowboys game. The Cowboys-Giants game was bananas. They scored 41 points in the fourth quarter.
You know what? I was at the Saints game. Obviously, I do the pregame show for the Saints in New Orleans, so I'm there. So I didn't get to see that game, but I went back and I watched the extended highlights, right? And so they get to the third quarter, and I'm like, how'd they get to 40? How'd they get to 40? I'm like, I gotta watch this fourth quarter. How'd they get to 40? And then all of a sudden, it's just Dak Prescott, boom. Russell Wilson left for dead after week 1. All of a sudden, he's resurrected 450 passing yards.
Yeah, I mean, Greg Olson called it the greatest game him and Joe Davis had ever called together. And they're ready to retire Wilson after week 1. He went in the Wayback Machine. He was throwing the deep ball, and I didn't realize what prolific deep ball thrower he had been in the past.
Yeah,
they were saying he's one of the great deep ball throwers of all time.
The moon ball throws it up high and lets his receiver settle under.
Yeah, he came back in a big way. Also, the thing now that is happening with these NFL kickers, like the guy comes in and kicks a 64-yarder.
Yeah.
And it's like, and this kicker Aubrey for the Cowboys. I don't know if you. So I'm listening to the game. So his story was he was a Notre Dame soccer player.
Okay.
He's watching football with his wife. God bless the wives. All right, let's just make that.
My wife loves football, man. I really hit the lottery there.
Oh, Yeah. And the wife's watching a game and somebody makes it, either made or missed a kick. And she said to her husband, "You would have made that. You could have made that." So he goes down to the local high school field or whatever and
Yeah.
starts kicking field goals. And he hit like a 50-yarder his first day, hires a kicking coach. And now they're saying he's the best, he might be the best long-range kicker in the history of the NFL right now. I mean,
Yeah.
when in overtime, when the Cowboys got up to the 60, they go, okay, well, or 60-yarder, they go, okay, they're in Aubrey's field goal range now. I mean, guys are just kicking, the field goal, the way these kickers have developed is really changing the outcome or the strategy of some of these football games. And I mean, you and I go back to Fred Cox and Garo
Right.
Yepremian, and
Yeah.
it wasn't a kicker if his name wasn't Micah Meyer or Jarella or Jan
Raphael
Stenery.
Septien. You know what I mean?
Oh, there you go. Great mustache.
Garo Yepremian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it's a weapon. One of the Cowboys walking off the field said, "Hey man, Aubrey's got ice in his veins." He's like, "When we cross the 50, we're good."
Yeah.
So it's a great weapon to have. I mean, teams don't want to kick field goals; they'd rather get touchdowns. But if you got to kick a field goal, it's good to have a guy you can count on from that kind of range.
Yep.
All right,
Listen to your wife.
Let's go through these two. Huh? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Let's go through these 2-0 teams and decide if they're really that good, or if it's a product of who they played and how it turned out. Let's start with Buffalo. They're a legit 2-0, I believe. You beat the Ravens, and then who was it? Was it Miami this past weekend?
Yeah, listen, I'm going with the Bills to win the Super Bowl.
Are you? I picked the Ravens to win the Super Bowl earlier, so we'll see.
Yeah.
You already went up on me
Chris Berman
when they
to win a
met.
Super Bowl.
All right. All right. How about the Bengals? I think the Bengals, they're 2-0, but the margin of victory, I was looking at the margin of victory for them, I think is like 4 points in those two games. Let me look it up, make sure I'm getting it right. We do opinion on this show, but we back it up with facts. Okay. Let's see here. I believe the margin was 4 points.
Well, they won the first game by 2.
The margin is
18.
5. Yeah, they're +5. They won 2 games. They beat the Browns, and then yesterday it was who they played. Just watch those highlights. But yeah, the Bengals. I think they're they're on borrowed time now. Joe Burrow's hurt. Jake Browning came in and finished up yesterday, but
They rallied to beat Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence and Harry yesterday.
Exactly, Jacksonville. So you look at the situation that they're in right now. No Joe Burrow. Yeah. You give all that money to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, but now you need Browning to get them the ball, and it's the offensive line. I mean, Burrow was constantly under pressure, and he's hurt again. Looks like he's going to be out at least 3 months. So that gets you all the way into December, and he might not be back unless they make the playoffs. So the 2-0 is nice for Cincinnati right now, but they got a real uphill climb. How about, I think, the surprise team of the NFL so far, the Colts. The Colts through 2 games have not punted.
And Giants fans are going, is that the same Daniel Jones that was up here in New York? Wait, that's such a common name. It can't be the same guy.
Yeah, like he still throws too much off his back foot when I watch him. You know what I mean? But the ball's getting there. And, I really liked Tyler Warren, the tight end out of Penn State. I said, man, this guy's going to be the new Kelsey. He's going to be the new Kittle. And sure enough, man, he is really coming along. And then Jonathan Taylor is just coming out of the gate real quick. Oh, we got a Gusty J in the chat. No love for half-foot Ray Worshing. We were talking about kickers.
Oh. Half-foot was Tom Dempsey, not Ray Worshing.
Yeah. Right. And then R. Kirstenbrock says someone's going to hit a 70-yarder this year. I would not be surprised if that happens. I think Aubrey's kick might have been good from 70 because he had a little bit of distance on it. But anyway,
yeah. The only real detriment is if you miss, you get the ball where the team kicked it. So you've really got to have faith when you go long distance, and it sounds like the Cowboys have got their guy.
Yeah, so back to the Colts. Haven't punted, haven't turned the ball over, I believe, and so they get the ball and they go down and score. And I mean, Jonathan Taylor is man, he is fast. I mean, he caught a little swing pass on one play, and a couple of guys had an angle on him, and he just went to another gear. You know, he was a sprint champion earlier, and boy, he's really good. And like you said, Daniel Jones has come along. They got good receivers, and Warren at tight end. Their defense has been holding up. They got a bit of luck. Sean Payton said he made the call on that kick. So they had a kick. The Colts were kicking to win the game, and the guy misses, but he gets called for leverage. And so Sean Payton said he had used that same kick block formation previously in the past and got penalized for it. Did it again and got penalized again. He said it was on him, but then the Colts get another try at the kick, and then they knock it through. So the Colts 2-0. I mean, I want to see how it plays out, you know, over the next month or so, but they look like they are really legit, and Daniel Jones reclaimed his career. Chargers, we talked about them.
For the record, I'm not buying the Colts.
You're not buying the Colts.
Okay, no, I'm not buying the Colts.
Stand by it. Why not?
Well, first of all, they beat the Dolphins, who I am buying as an 0-2 team, and they're
Okay.
they're going to beat the Titans this weekend, who I am buying as an 0-2 team.
Okay.
And Denver is not a measuring stick to see how good the Colts are right now. They've got to play somebody. I want to see the Colts play Buffalo.
Okay.
And then we're going to see.
See, I'm bullish on Denver. So I thought it was a quality win. I think Denver's pretty good, but we'll see as it plays out. We talked about the Chargers. I think they're a legit 2-0. They look like a really good team, and you know they got that 2-game lead in the AFC West on the Chiefs, which is key. All right. How about the Eagles? Eagles are 2-0. Their point differential is not much either. If I remember correctly, the Eagles have squeaked by a couple of times. You know, the Eagles are just professional winners to me. They just find a way. Yeah, their differential is only +7. So they've had 2 close games, but they've won 2 close games, and they keep doing. Excuse me, I keep doing it. I think they keep doing it. I think it's 18 out of 19 going back to last season. I mean, they just find ways to win the game. Yeah. But if they don't throw the ball down the field, I wonder how long that's going to be able to last.
Hurts had a big throw to Devontae Smith on a 3rd and 10.
A big throw.
Yeah, well,
let me see here.
I believe in the Eagles. They got the pedigree. They got an underrated coach. They got an underrated quarterback who plays with his chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
The conference is they're not in the strongest of conferences.
Yeah.
So I'm a believer in the Eagles.
Jalen Hurts, 15 of 22, 101 yards. Okay. Now, look, they got a great defense.
Saquon Barkley, he doesn't need to throw it.
Well, Saquon had 22 carries, 88 yards. Okay, that's a solid performance. But I think at some point, they're going to have to throw the ball down the field. I'm not saying that they can't do it because they've proven that they can. A.J. Brown has had, I believe, 3 1,000-yard seasons in a row, and then they got Devontae Smith, and they can throw it underneath to the tight end as well, Goddard. So they can throw the ball when they need to. They haven't done it yet, and so I just kind of wonder about them just a little bit. How about the Packers? Also 2-0.
Legit.
Yeah. I think they are legitimate Super Bowl contenders. I would be interested to see. Let's see. The Eagles play the Packers. I'd love to see that game.
They just got the spirit of Dick Butkus from the Cowboys, so they've only gotten better. And Jordan Love appears to have the confidence, and I like the Packers a lot. And that's a tougher division. Well, Minnesota's lost their quarterback, although he reverted back to the first 3 quarters of his first game in his last game before he got hurt. Bears haven't looked that good.
It was really weird watching J.J. McCarthy revert back to, the J.J. McCarthy that had people worried in those first 3 quarters in Minnesota's first game against the Bears. But, we'll see. I'm trying to pull up the schedule here to see if the Eagles and Packers play.
Eagles got the Rams this weekend, so
that'll be a good test because the Rams, man, that Rams defense is no joke. Yeah, it is no joke. Okay, so let's see here. Packers. How about the Bucks? We talked about the Bucks. They've squeaked by a couple of times, but I think they're really good.
I think the Bucks are legit.
I mean,
We talked about we like Baker Mayfield. We like Todd
yep,
Bowles' defense.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, how about the Niners? The Niners have had a ton of injuries, came into New Orleans, beat the Saints this past weekend. I wasn't happy about it, but Mac Jones. Who? Mac Jones.
Yeah.
He stepped up with Brock Purdy out, and Mac Jones delivered a solid performance, enough for them to get the win. You buying the Niners?
I am buying the Niners. You know, it's funny, Stan. I think I'd buy the Niners because whenever I watch them play, all I think about is like Joe Montana and Randy Cross and Jesse Sapolu and Jerry Rice and
Yeah.
dudes on. You know what I mean? It's just something about the 49ers that it's kind of like it's similar to the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
They have such a winning pedigree.
Yep.
If you know your football history, that you just don't think that they're going to be at any time. They're not going to win it all every time, but they're always going to play at a different level than some of these other teams. Your Cleveland Browns, for example. Why you
Yeah.
don't know if you can get behind the Cincinnati Bengals because they haven't done anything forever. Things like that. So I am buying the 49ers.
Yeah, they got to get
Injuries or
healthy
not.
though. I mean, they'll
Yeah.
get Kittle back, they'll get Purdy back. Ayuk's going to be a while, but you know they keep finding ways to get it done. Helps to have McCaffrey. He didn't really do a whole lot. Scored a touchdown. Didn't dominate the game, but you know. On that note, I get a chance to talk about the Saints here. I'm really impressed with Spencer Rattler. He's getting better as the season goes along, and I think they made a good choice in starting him, and I think he really looks the part, and I think he's going to be okay. I mean, this is going to be a tough season from all indications as he continues to grow and mature. But you know, I really liked his improvement from week 1 to week 2, and he's going to get a test. Saints go to Seattle on Sunday, so he's going to get a test on the road. But we'll see how they do. I mean, if the receivers have to help him a little bit more. They got Alvin Kamara a little bit more involved on Sunday. He had 99 yards on the ground, so that helps. But receivers had some drops. You know, they need to help him out. But I'm really bullish on the future for Spencer Rattler. I think he's got that it that I was talking about earlier.
Now, when they play on the road, will you go to Seattle to do the pregame, or do you do it from New Orleans?
No, we're gonna do it. We do it virtually. So I'll be here in LA for the pregame show and get beamed.
So
into
road
the,
games are virtual. Home games are on site.
Home games are on site. Road games are virtual. They beam me into the studio in New Orleans and with Scott Shanley and our crew, Aaron Summers. Shout out to the Saints crew.
You see this, Stanley? You see this guy wrote ASAP Justin, bros stuck in the old days. and you know what I would say to you, Justin, is
what?
They call them the good old days.
The good old days. Yeah. No, you know what? Organizational attitude, organizational success. I mean, I really believe it's a thing. And, you know, the 49ers have that, like you mentioned, that winning pedigree. You know, when you put that uniform on, it means something. And I will say this, there were a lot of 49er fans in New Orleans for that game on Sunday. And they really respect the history because, you know, you'll see a sprinkling of Kittle jerseys and McCaffrey jerseys and Purdy jerseys. But you see a whole lot more Rice's and Montana's and Lots. You know, they really respect the history. And so, you know, shout out to the 49er fans for coming down and supporting their team. And they got to win to get to 2-0. How about the Cardinals? Cardinals are 2-0.
Zero belief in the Cardinals.
Okay, back it up. Make it stick.
You know what? I just I don't know. I've just never, you know, it's not personal. I've just never thought that Kyler Murray was a guy that's going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And you know, he's just, I don't know. And yet Jalen Hurts did, and I bet they're probably about the same size. And Kyler Murray, I watch him play, and he does amazing things. But for whatever reason, I just don't equate him, you know, and that franchise to winning a Super Bowl.
I think Jalen Hurts would want to fight you if he heard you say he's as short as Kyler Murray. I think he's a little taller. They have similar builds, but I think Jalen Hurts is a little taller. But then, you know what? Hey, Kyler Kyler gets it done, and I think the thing about that is he's been hearing that his whole life.
Yeah.
He's been hearing that his whole. I mean, never lost a game in high school, for what I
Proving idiots
understand.
like me wrong. Yeah.
I mean,
so
look. He still got to do it. He's still got to prove it, but he's got the Cardinals off to a good start. All right, let's talk about some of these 0-2 teams now. The Jets. Do we need to say any more?
yeah, the Jets are 0-2, and I think
Looks like Fields is hurt a little
They
bit.
got Tampa Bay this weekend, so they should be 0-3. I think Fields may be out with the concussion.
Yeah. Kyler's Pop-Tart interception was horrible. Our Gerstenbrock in the chat.
You know what it is? You know what?
Bucking Fuffalo says Jalen could squat like 15 Kylers. So yeah, I've seen Jalen Hurts squat workouts, and they are very impressive.
You know what it was, Stan? Kyler Murray had a playoff game a few years ago where it looked like he, early in the game, things didn't go well, and it looked like he kind of gave up. I remember that game now.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that was a sign that I couldn't back him, but he can prove me wrong. And
hey, we'll see
in one season.
Right?
He's like Rey Mysterio in pads, is what Gusty J says. Rey Mysterio was actually drafted in the LBA draft on Saturday.
He's a wrestler, isn't he?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he was there.
He was there at the
Well,
Mafiathon.
somebody that said they were him was there.
I gotta go. I gotta before the month. He's doing this whole month. I gotta get over there before the month is over.
Yeah, no, you got you got to watch the video of the draft itself, not my idiot statements, but the draft itself was fun.
All right. How about the Dolphins? Dolphins, I think they're in for a world of trouble. I don't know if I hate to talk about people losing their jobs. It's one of my pet peeves. I really don't like speculating on that kind of thing. Report it when it happens, but I just wonder if things keep going the way they're going, if Mike McDaniel's going to make it.
You know what somebody's saying right now? You know why those two guys are on Twitch? They lost their jobs.
Right. Different kind of situation there. Different kind of situation. It'd be like somebody walking in the middle of the show and saying, "Okay, you guys out." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Getting fired mid-season. So I don't know. Maybe the Dolphins could turn it around, but it doesn't look like a good situation there right now, and they're under a lot of pressure. I think there's betting odds on which coach will get fired first, and I think Mike McDaniel is the leader in the clubhouse right now. How about the Browns? We talked about the Browns a little bit. Defense has been playing pretty good, but the offense just not on track yet.
Listen, Joe Flacco and I were in high school at the same year. Okay, so they're not. I mean,
okay,
come on.
So if you're the Browns, at what point do you say we're going to see Dylan Gabriel and/or Shedeur Sanders?
It's my understanding that Shedeur Sanders isn't even taking prep squad, or whatever they call it.
Scout
what do
team.
they call it?
Scout team.
Scout team. He's not even taking scout team snaps.
Yeah.
That's the report out of there. So he might be the fourth string quarterback.
Without a third stringer. Right.
So I don't know. Listen, Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl, so all respect to Joe Flacco, just making fun of him because he is old.
Yeah.
You drafted Dylan Gabriel in the third round. Deshaun Watson, I can't believe is ever coming back.
Right.
So you need to, you can't build your franchise around Flacco. He's too old. Can't build it around Watson. He's too injury prone, and we got a bag of problems with him. So you might as well go with why wouldn't you go with Dylan Gabriel?
Yep. And see what you got. I mean, I don't think it's out of hand yet, but you are in a division with the Ravens and the Bengals now. I mean, look, you're in a division with the Ravens because the Steelers, I think, they'll kind of, Aaron Rodgers will have his moments, and then some moments he won't be as good. But you're in the division with the Ravens. You're not going to win the division. So do you say, okay, we're going to see what we got with Dylan Gabriel starting now, because what does Flacco have? Maybe another year. So maybe you find out now what you have in Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders. I don't know what they're going to do. But it's not looking good for the Browns either.
I wouldn't try him this weekend. You've got Green Bay coming. You don't need Micah Parsons welcoming Dylan Gabriel to the NFL.
Well, hey, I mean, if they don't protect Flacco, he might get welcome to the NFL,
Yeah.
regardless of whether they plan it. you bet. You better put a tight end in or a back there to chip them. All right, let's move to these Texans. I'm not buying the Texans as an 0-2 team. I think they're going to figure it out.
Yeah, they got to get like you mentioned, they got a new offensive coordinator, Stroud and the new OC not on the same page yet, but they've got too many good players to be that bad of a team.
Yep. Okay. Titans. Cam Ward still got to try to figure it out.
Yeah, they got a rookie quarterback. They're a legit 0-2.
The Chiefs. Now, go ahead.
The Chiefs. A lot of people are wanting to bury the Chiefs. I'm not burying the
Me
Chiefs
either.
yet.
Me either.
No way.
I mean
that game is Travis Kelce head turn that much quicker.
Yep.
From probably being a Chiefs win, as opposed to being an Eagles win. And that's just that's sport, the way the ball bounces there. And I mean that was a heck of a game. And I'm not putting in it. I'm not saying that the Mahomes magic is dead. No way.
No way. And you know what? I think spotting everybody else in the AFC West 2 games, that makes it fair the rest of the way, because the Chiefs have dominated the division. So them going 0-2 is like, okay, now it's fair. We're starting from 0-2, and then we're gonna see if we can walk these other teams down. Because like you said, the Mahomes magic, and they're gonna get Rashee Rice back. Worthy's gonna get healthy, and then and I think it'll be a different team. But for right now, to quote, I believe it was Bill Parcells, "You are what your record says you are," and they're 0-2. Giants 0-2.
Stan, where do you stand on when they say Patrick Mahomes has now lost 3 games in a row for the first time in his career, and the third game they're talking about is the Super Bowl? I'm like, you got to put you close that chapter, you open a new chapter. He's lost 2 games in a row.
I mean, they did lose, so factually it's correct. Does it have any bearing? I mean, that's a totally different team, totally different situation. But factually, it is correct. So
get it out. Don't like it.
Meaningless fact. How about Giants? I think the Giants are better than 0-2. I wouldn't have said that before this week, but I think Russell Wilson found a little bit of magic. And look, Malik Neighbors is fantastic. He's the newest addition from wide receiver U down there in Baton Rouge. And boy, I think they got a little something going now that's going to really work for the Giants.
Yeah, boy, had they won that game, I would be that. It's funny that sport is so funny how it just can change. One win, one loss, and it just dominoes one way or the other. Yeah. I don't know the Giants. The G-man. Okay, I'll go that I'm not believe they're an 0-2. They're better than that.
How about the Bears? Really confusing.
They got a new coach. Our guy from USC, Caleb Williams, has looked I don't know if erratic's the right word.
That's exactly the word. That's exactly the word I was thinking. Erratic. Yeah.
Yeah, the rhythm. He just hasn't had the rhythm. That's one of those franchises that's so historic, and you just think about the old Bears and so you kind of
something about quarterbacks in Chicago though. It just doesn't seem to work, and it doesn't. They get the number 1 overall pick. Guy looks like a can't miss, and it's way too early to write Caleb Williams off. But this continues this trend of just quarterbacks and it's been different coaches, it's been different GMs making the picks, but it just never seems to pan out for them at quarterback. And so we'll see. But right now they're 0-2 as well. Saints 0-2. Look, rookie coach, rookie quarterback. First full season starting for Spencer Rattler. I think everybody knew there were going to be growing pains in New Orleans. But I will say this. They've been in both of those games so far against the Cardinals and against the 49ers. They had a chance to win on the final possession each time, which is, at this point, you want to be competitive. But, they're making a lot of needless mistakes that, it was penalties the first game and then some drops in the second game. And so they're being competitive. I love the fight. I love the way Rattler's developing. But at the same time, you got to win. You got to finish it out. Being competitive in the final minute doesn't help. At some point, you got to win it in the final minute. How about the Carolina Panthers?
I mean, how can you not believe that they're a real 0-2 team? I mean, what would give you any reason not to think that they're?
I like Tedoroa McMillan, and Bryce Young, another guy. I think he'll figure it out eventually and be the guy. But again, another number 1 overall pick who, it's just you don't know how it's going to translate from college to the
Yeah.
pros. You just don't know how it's going to translate. All right, so that's our 0-2 and 2-0 teams. All right, so now what do you think about Tom Brady in the booth? Last night he's in the Raiders booth. He's got a headset on and he's participating apparently in their game planning during the week and watching tape. I mean, he's also a broadcaster for Fox, so he has to prepare and learn as much as he can about other teams when he's doing broadcasts. But as a Raiders owner, the NFL says he's not breaking any rules by being in the booth with a headset on, as long as it's the officially sponsored NFL headset. So it's got to be Sony. You can't void the marketing deal. You can't go follow the marketing deal with Sony. But as far as the rules go, no problem. If you're another team, do you have a problem with Tom Brady being in the booth for the Raiders?
How do you not? I mean, these are teams the Raiders are going to play that he's covering for Fox with Kevin Burkhardt.
Yeah.
And the NFL has relaxed rules for him. You know what it is, Stan? It's he can wear shorts.
He can wear shorts.
And he can't. So
we don't have time to tell you that story today, but file that one away. He can wear shorts. It's about people who can break rules and people who can't, and it stems from our ESPN days. We'll tell that story at some point. But just suffice it to say, everybody else is wearing long pants. Tom Brady can wear shorts if he wants to.
Exactly. You get the idea. I mean, the onus, they made it where the onus is on the team to protect itself from Tom Brady. A team shouldn't be a factor. They've got everything. Game planning should not include what can we make sure we don't let Tom Brady, the announcer, know.
Yeah. All right, look, we got some other stuff to get to. I kind of want to tell the story now. we may stay a few minutes longer.
Well, I got a plane to catch, so we can't stay too much longer.
All right. We'll save the story for another time. But just remember, he can wear shorts and he can't. All right. What about the tush push? Now, I am of the opinion that it's time for the tush push to go, and I'll tell you why. Because I think there's going to be some incrementalism here with this play. Now, there was a time when it's just like, hey, on the goal line, you run it on the goal line to try to get a touchdown, or you got a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1. Okay, but teams may run this now on 3rd and 2 or 4th and 2, and I don't think it's within the spirit of the rules of football. Okay, if a player, and I mentioned this on social media last night on my X account, at Stan Verrett, if you want to follow. But I mentioned this last night, and somebody said, hey, it depends on how the rule is written. And I agree. I think that what they need to do is say that you can't push a runner, you can't line up in the backfield and push the ball carrier from behind into the end zone. And it has, some Eagles fans like, oh, people are just mad because they can't stop it. Well, the Eagles aren't the only ones who can run it. Anybody can run it, and anybody can do it. And I don't think anybody is going to have any less success than the Eagles had in running it if you got, big guys in the backfield pushing the runner into the end zone or pushing the runner past the first down line. I just don't think it's within the spirit of the rules. If your blockers are in front and they move the line of scrimmage to get your ball carrier into the end zone or past the first down line, fine, okay? But you can't have blockers behind you pushing you in. That's not how the game's played. What do you think?
Well, what I noticed was, one, I agree. I don't think it's within the spirit of the game.
Right.
Spirit of the rules, however you say that. But when they showed the overhead cam, they started showing all the tomfoolery that was going on between the offense and defensive line.
Right.
On one of the plays, you had a defensive guy for the Chiefs punch the football.
Yep.
On another huge push, you saw the two offensive guards for the Eagles both moved before the ball was snapped.
In the neutral zone. Sometimes they're lining up in the neutral zone.
Yeah. So it's almost like if you want to run the tush push, and I hate replay, but it's almost like we're gonna set the drone or the camera right over the top there, and and then we're gonna have to review it to make sure, hey, you were offsides, you punched the football, whatever. But I mean, it's just more replay that slows the game down. I think the better way is get rid of the tush push. But now the owners had a chance to, and they didn't. So
yeah.
why they didn't, I don't know, because then it's somebody could take that away from them eventually if they decide to do it. There had to be some economic reason that they voted against it.
Always follow the money. Always follow the money.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk college now. How about your Ducks? Go to Northwestern and get another win. They're looking really good.
Well, they did. You know what? They didn't have a strong defensive fourth quarter in that win at Northwestern. Northwestern scored twice in the fourth quarter. I know Coach Lanning wasn't happy with that. They've got Oregon State this weekend. I think they're a 5-touchdown favorite. The Beavers are really struggling, and then they're going to go to Penn State. And if they don't clean up their run defense, either that or Northwestern's got one of the premier run offenses in the college football. Penn State will ground that ball up and down the field, and so I know that's what the coaching staff is looking at, or I'm guessing. I don't know. It's not like I'm hanging out with them, but
not that you couldn't
want to be hanging out.
Not that you couldn't, but you're just not, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I want to though, so badly. But,
hey, have Neil come in and give a pep talk to the front seven about the run defense. Okay, yeah. Coach Lanning?
Just clip this thing off. You got a big Duck fan who's worried about the run defense against Penn State. But go Ducks.
All right, and LSU, it's funny because LSU, it's the opposite. It's the run offense that people are worried about. And LSU with a win over Florida, they had 5 interceptions, including a pick 6, and they only scored 20 points. Now, look, in the SEC, you take a win however you can get it, okay? But Brian Kelly got some questions after the game about the run game and the offense in general, about how the offense is working. And the reporter asked the question right after the game, and Brian Kelly wasn't in the mood for it. I think we have that clip.
Brian in the back, I know you love these immediate post-game sessions, but what are you seeing with your offense?
Stop. Really? Is that the first question? We won the game 20-10. Try another question. We played the game to win the game.
All right. How about third down then? What is going on with third down?
It's one game. Last game, we were great on third down. You're looking at this from the wrong perspective. LSU won the football game. Won the game. I don't know what you want from me. What do you want? You want us to win 70-0 against Florida to keep you happy?
No, I think people want to know why you can't run the ball, quite honestly.
We can run the ball. Did you see the last play of the game? That's all you need. You just need one. There's a ridiculous questions. And I'm getting tired of it.
So Caden Durham broke one for LSU late in the game to help seal the game. But you see, Brian Kelly was not happy about the level of questioning. I believe the reporter's name is Michael Caldwell. He's from one of the TV stations in Baton Rouge. But it's one of those things where, like, I think we get into this whole thing of like he said, micromanaging the game. It's like, hey man, you won. It's an SEC game, and you won it. And maybe you didn't play as well as you would have liked to play, but you won the game. Going Herm Edwards, you play to win the game.
You play to win the game.
And college football style points do matter sometimes because of rankings and such. But I think sometimes I talked about this on social media too. Sometimes good reporting, a part of the art of good reporting is knowing your interview subject and knowing how to sequence your questions.
They want me gone. They tired of
knowing that you're gonna have some issues with Brian Kelly if you ask that question in that moment after they won the game. So maybe that's the second or third question. I think that's kind of what he took offense to.
Yeah, and just he needs to handle himself better. You don't want to demean people doing their job.
Right?
Like the reporter can't say that was a stupid play call.
Right.
Okay, Brian Kelly, that's a stupid question. just handle it better. And I think Brian Kelly apologized and said he needed to handle that better. So
yeah, he did come back and apologize.
I think both things can be true.
Have you ever found yourself in that situation during your career as a reporter, particularly when you were reporting?
Yeah, I had Tom Watson go off on me at Wildlife Country Club at the Hawaiian Open. I can't even remember. I don't even remember the question I asked, but he said, "Well, you're obviously not a golfer. That's a dumb question." I'm like, I'm not a golfer.
I did not remember it until just now. David Duvall went off on me in New Orleans when I was working in New Orleans. He had just won twice, and he comes to New Orleans and he's trying to make it 3 wins in a row. And so I said, David, how did it feel to finally break through and get those first 2 wins on the PGA Tour? He said, hey man, it's not like I was playing poorly. It's not like I was playing poorly before that. And I said, yeah, but you hadn't won. And the question is about you having won. Yeah, but I wasn't playing poorly. I wasn't playing poorly. Okay. All right, and one other coach earlier today, Dabo Swinney, let in reporters, though Clemson 1-2 after the loss to Georgia Tech, lost to LSU in week 1. And so Dabo Swinney kind of feeling a little bit of heat. Let's listen to what he had to say earlier today.
They want me gone. If they tired of winning, they can send me on their way because that's all we've done is win. So if they tired of winning, we've won this league 8 out of the last 10 years. Is that not good? I'm just asking. Is that good? I don't know if that's good or not. To win your league 8 out of 10 years, to go to the playoffs 7 out of 10 years, to be in 4 national championships, win it twice. Yeah, we're a little down right now. Take your shots, but I got a long memory, in case y'all don't know. We'll be all right. We'll bounce back. This is a program built to last. Always has been. Always will be. And I would just say, if you give up on us if you don't believe in us because we've lost 2 games down to the last straight and you didn't believe in us anyway, so it don't matter. You wasn't all in anyway. If you're all in, you burn the ships, man. There ain't no exit strategy. Like, you're freaking all in. And hey, listen, if Clemson's tired of winning, they can send me on my way, but I'm going to go somewhere else and coach. I ain't going to the beach. Hell, I'm 55. I got a long way to go. Y'all going to have to deal with me for a while. I got a long way to go. I'm just getting going. I'm just now good enough to be a head coach. I'm just now figuring it out. So we'll be around a while.
All right, so Dabo Swinney there after Clemson's loss on the road at Georgia Tech. I will say this: Dabo is this is not the first time he's done this. He'll threaten to leave on you now. You remember, I believe it was 2014 when he said if the players ever started getting paid and they got a sense of entitlement about being paid, he was just going to find something else to do. But here we are 11 years later, and he's still there because he realized, $10 million a year jobs aren't that easy to come by. So now here he is again, I think kind of feeling the heat maybe from some of the Clemson boosters, about them starting 1-2. But I don't think he's going anywhere because, he threw us the layup, Neil. He threw us the lob, so we got to dunk it. Winning your conference 8 out of 10 years, is that good?
It's not bad.
Right. Exactly. So, I don't get the sense he's going anywhere.
A projection model I read in the New York Times has Clemson with a 12% chance to make the college football playoff. They've got 100% chance if they win out and win their conference championship. They do have Florida State on the schedule. But, as a coach would say, hey, we're just looking at who our next game is. And I don't know who Clemson's next game is. But, the expectation was that this was going to be, a college football playoff team.
Yeah.
The quarterback coming back. They've got quite the program down there. But then again, you look at Notre Dame. They're a 1-2 or 0-2, excuse me.
Yeah.
And they played for the national championship last year. So it's the beauty of the game is no one's name is on the invitation in September.
No, and the problem for Notre Dame is that I don't think they have enough marquee games to try to climb the rankings once again. You know what I mean? They don't have a lot of big time games left on their schedule. They got to hope USC continues winning and is a world beater. They got USC coming up later, but I just remember they don't have a lot of marquee opponents that'll help them climb back into it. So they really needed that win over Texas A&M to bolster their resume. But I look, Cade Klubnik hasn't been as good as advertised, but I think that's a theme in college football early in the season so far. I mean, Garrett Nussmeier's been okay for LSU, hasn't been great, but I mean, he's on the Heisman list, hasn't been great. The defense has carried LSU. Arch Manning hasn't been nearly what anybody thought he would be. He had a pretty suspect performance this past weekend as well. So I think quarterback play around college football in general, among the players that we expected to be marquee quarterbacks, is just not there right now. And Cade Klubnik, is a part of that trend, and I think that's a part of the reason why Clemson's 1-2 so far.
D Soul says Dabo is awesome. So there you go.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, look, Dabo, he said F around and find out, LOL. So look, I don't think I don't think Clemson's going to make a move on him. I think he's too good a coach for that. But at the same time, I don't think he can afford another bad loss without things getting a little bit more contentious. Like they gotta, they lose to Florida State. Okay, maybe that game at home or away.
Ooh, I don't remember what I wrote it down.
But if they may be able to lose that game, but I don't know that they can suffer another bad loss without some issues.
So they got to win the
South
ACC
Carolina
championship. Period.
Yeah.
So they could lose another game and still reach the ACC championship.
Right, and then with the expanded playoff, maybe you still get in.
Yeah.
You figure if they go on a 8-9 game win streak, they'll climb back into playoff contention. But it's something to watch at Clemson because they have big expectations, and so far hasn't turned out that way. All right, hey man,
I got a flight to catch, man. I'm headed up to Spo Vegas.
All right, Spokane. You mean?
Gonna see nephew Spencer have a senior year at Gonzaga. Gonna have a little breakfast with nephew Spencer. Gonna give a little speech to some people up there, and have a good old time in the old stomping ground.
What are you speaking about?
I'm speaking before an insurance group that have become friends of mine, and so they've become like a family. It's kind of become a family affair. This is the third year I've done it, and they keep inviting me back, and I feel blessed to be invited back.
Okay, and while we're on that, I got a speaking engagement coming up on Saturday as well for the With My Own Two Hands Foundation, a charity here in Southern California that does incredible work in Africa, actually building facilities. They take a team from Southern California and they go to somewhere in Africa. They go to Kenya or they've been to other countries as well, and they actually build something, a water treatment facility, a dormitory. They build something with their own two hands. And that's where the name of the organization came from. And then they take a filmmaker with them every year. The filmmaker films that project, and then they do a premiere screening of the film that the documentary filmmaker shot to raise money for the next year's trip. So
that's part of the Anthony Katz family, isn't it?
Anthony Katz, Lindsay Plummer, yeah, they're the two two founders of the organization, and they do fantastic work. I'm glad to be a part of their effort too. So
maybe going to get some golf in too while you're there.
It's at Newport Beach, Pelican Hill. There's a 100% chance that there will be some golf played this weekend while I'm in Newport Beach at Pelican Hill. Absolutely. All right, man.
All right, we'll be back on Friday. We appreciate the folks who are with us today.
Yep.
Get your golf on. I'll see you Friday, brother.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to follow and subscribe wherever you're watching us right now, and we will see you on Friday. Stan and Neil Show out.
Let's go.
How's it? Do you know what time it is? Let's go! The Stan and Neil Show. 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 With Stan, Stan, he's the man. And who's Stan's biggest fan? Well, it's Neil. And Neil Oh, Neil, he keeps it real. And that's why Neil's the deal. Stan and Neil back together again, spreading the love with all their old friends. Let's go! Stan and Neil back together for you, keeping it cool, cause coals are raw. The Stan and Neil show, 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 the Stan and Neil show.
Yeah. All right, let me hear it all back. See what we got so far.
So, shout out to Coach D for the jingle, the Stan and Neil jingle.